Hey, what's going on, guys? Dante Trades here, and in this video we're going to be doing a brutally honest review of the Apex trading pros and cons from a real human trader, not an AI slop channel. So a lot of AI slop channels out there covering these topics. Now I'm a real human profitable trader, and I'm going to be giving you again my brutally honest review of Apex trader funding. I'm going to be talking about who is Apex for, is best for, and who it is not best for. And also we're going to be talking about some tips and things to be aware of if you choose to trade with Apex. I am a six-figure trader, and if you want a 100% free futures trading course, go to dantetrades.com/free. The link will be in the description. Now let's just jump right into it here. So I'm going to just start with the cons first. And the first con is going to be the 30% consistency rule when it comes to trading Apex. Now, if you don't know what a 30% consistency rule is, I'll just explain it to you here really quickly. Let's just say, for example, you have a 50K account. So you have a 50K account with Apex, and usually for the 50K accounts, the target profit is going to be $3,000. So 50K account with a profit of $3,000. Now, if you have a target profit of $3,000 with a 30% consistency rule, that just means that with a 30% consistency rule means is that you can't have a trade over roughly around $900, because if you have a trade that's over $900, then that would cause you to breach the 30% consistency rule. And again, that just means that none of your winning days can be over 30% of your max profit or your max profit goal. So in this case, that'll be $900, which again, honestly, when you compare it to the other options out there, 30% consistency rule is really tight. It's really common these days to see a 50% consistency rule, 40% at least. 30% consistency is honestly fairly tight, but is what it is. And the next con for me is going to be the intraday trailing drawdown. Now, if you don't know what the intraday trailing drawdown is, again, I'll just explain that quickly. Let's just say, for example, we start again with the same 50K account, right? So this is just going to be our 50K account. And let's say with that 50K account, you have a trade and you open it, and that trade is just open and it goes up and it brings your account balance to 52K. Let's just say for whatever reason you don't close that trade, and you just keep that trade open, and that trade goes from 52K back down to 50K and you break even, right? Now in real life, you know, if you have an account, a trade that's open and you don't close it and you pull it up to break even, then obviously you're not going to lose any money there. But what the trailing drawdown does is, because your drawdown is trailing, it's going to draw down from your highest account balance. So if you go from 50K to 52K and you don't take profit and you let that trade run back against you, even if you pull your stop up to break even, that's going to count as a $2,000 loss against you. So it's just going to be counting unrealized losses against you, which obviously is just much more difficult to trade using an intraday trailing drawdown that is utilizing unrealized losses. So again, that's a rule that makes it more difficult to trade with them. So that's a con for me, right? Another con is their payout request caps. So with Apex Trader funding, you can request one payout per 8 trading days. So that's basically one payout per 2 weeks, right? Pretty much like one payout per 2 weeks. And 5 of those days need to be over $50. And realistically, most people are only going to be able to request one payout per month. You can obviously, realistically, you can request up to 2 payouts per month, but for most people, unless you are trading perfectly, the average person is probably going to be max requesting like one payout per month, if that, right? So again, they do have payout cap request, and these kind of milestones that you have to reach. And again, for most people, you're probably only going to be looking at one payout per month. You can get up to 2, but if you're a really, really good trader, but for most people, again, right, are not going to be getting there. And, you know, compared to some of the other competition that don't really have this is going to definitely be a con for me. So the next con is also on top of the payout request caps, they have the payout caps themselves. So the payout cap for a 50K is going to be $2,000. And again, obviously, you know, capping the amount of money that you can actually pull out. Let's say, for example, even if you make $5,000, $10,000 in profits, you're only going to be able to take out that $2,000, and then you have to go through the whole, you know, payout request cycle again before you can actually request another payout. So again, a con, right? So the last rule we're going to talk about here is going to be the contract sizing rule. And I really, really don't like this rule. And basically what the contract sizing rule means is that when you're trading with Apex, you actually have to trade with consistent contracts. So let's say, for example, if you trade with, I don't know, let's just say, I was going to say five, but let's actually say, let's just say you are trading with one contract with Apex and you have a winning trade. And then let's say you see like a really, really good setup and you go from like one contracts to, let's just say, like 10 contracts because you see a really good setup and you want to size up on that setup. This will not be allowed with Apex. They're going to, you have to have like consistent contracts when you're trading with them. And the biggest problem with this rule for me is it is not really clearly stated like how much you can scale your contract sizing from one trade to the next. So it is kind of like at their discretion. Like if you read here, it says erratic spikes or inconsistent changes, like trading 10 contracts one day, then the next day trading two contracts, which depending on the setup is honestly totally reasonable. Totally to secure a payout, it's not permitted. And again, it doesn't really give you like, it doesn't say like you can increase your contracts by 50% per day or X amount of percent, or just like give you like a really concrete thing to follow. It's just kind of like up to their discretion to like say if you're following the contract size or not, which obviously can get a lot of people, leading to denial payout. So I really, really do not like that rule personally. And this is definitely going to be a massive con and one that a lot of people don't know about. But again, that's not to say that Apex is bad, but I'm just telling you guys, like, just again, a brutally honest opinion as a person who has traded with them and other firms, right? So let's talk about the pros now. Like we talked about all the cons, but let's talk about the pros. So the first pro, and this is why they have all these rules, is they have scaling up to 20 accounts. This is the number one pro when it comes to Apex, and no other prop firm comes close to Apex when it comes to this level of scale. So 20 accounts, let's just say, for example, if you make $1,000 in profit across 20 accounts, which is not that hard to do depending on what account size that you have, that's $20,000 in profit. Even something like $100 in profit across 20 accounts, that's $2,000 on one trade across 20 accounts. So obviously the scale that they have is just massive, and this is going to be a huge benefit when it comes to Apex. Another pro that they have is huge leverage, right? So 10 minis on the 50K. In my opinion, this can be viewed as a con as well because, 10 minis on a 50K is just absolutely ridiculous. This is like way more leverage than I think anybody needs on these smaller accounts, on these, on a 50K or something like that. So I'm going to count it as a pro, but it can be a con as well because you can be working on your account, and doing really well, and then you decide to size up, and then you just lose all your progress in one trade or something like that. But also it can work. It can be a pro or a con, but I'm just gonna put it in the pro account, the pro section, because again, if you use that properly, you can obviously do well with that. So another pro is that they have huge leverage compared to other prop firms. The next pro is going to be they have very cheap evals, so you can get those evals up to 90% off. I've used the code Dante Trades. They're normally like $167, and if you use my code Dante Trades, it'll go from like $167 to like $18. So they have like the cheapest evals out there, and this is obviously another really big pro. And on top of that, you can pass the evals in one day. Now they don't have any consistency rules or anything like that in the eval stage. A lot of those cons that I was talking about we're going to come into play when you actually go into the actual funded account stage. But you can pass their evals in one day, so that's another pro. You can kind of just just go fast with Apex, right? And if you actually want to see a video on how I actually pass these evals, I will pop that up on the screen for you here. And also they have many account sizing options. Like if we actually just go to the Apex website here, you're going to see that they have so many different account sizes. They have 50K, 25K, 100K. They have all different platforms, all different kind of, just a lot of different options when it comes to Apex. 150K, 300K. They have static, just a lot of different sizes and things like that. So I think they have a lot of variety, and that's going to be definitely another pro for me. So who is Apex Trader for? So I think Apex Trader is going to work best for you if you are an experienced trader. So an experienced trader who wants to scale up big. So you already have a strategy that that works. You already, are kind of like more established, and you just want to kind of like scale up your strategy across multiple accounts and like really take advantage of the scale that prop firms offer. Then this is going to work best for you, right? Also, if you are a base hits trader, this is just going to work well for you, right? Like if you are one of those traders that, you know, you have like a bunch of small trades, and then all of a sudden you have this big trade that makes like most of your profit, like 90% of your profit, you're going to struggle when it comes to Apex Trader, but prop firms in general, but really in particular with Apex due to their really tight consistency rules and all the rules that they have on constraints on like which ways that you can trade. Again, you're just really going to struggle if you, you know, if you trade this way. And this is definitely going to be a lot better for people who are going to be base hits traders. So you just take your, you know, your set profit per day, keep it moving, right? So base hit traders. And also for people who are looking for super low cost, again, as little as $18 with discounts. And if you are a new trader, you most likely will struggle more. D, I don't know why I put D there, but you most likely will struggle more with them, in my opinion. Again, this is going to be a little bit more for the experienced traders looking to kind of scale up. So again, Apex strength is size up to 20 accounts at once. This is going to be huge potential when it comes to payouts. And if you're a new trader, this doesn't mean that you can't make Apex work, but it's just definitely they have a lot more less favorable rules, being realistic when it comes to other prop firms out there. So they do definitely still have their place, but again, they just have a little bit more, not a little bit more, but a lot more restrictive rules in some aspects. So this is my honest and brutal review of Apex Trader. Let me know if you've traded with them, what your experience is with them, and any prop firms you want me to cover next. And if you enjoyed that video, make sure you drop a like. You can get that free course in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.